Hello broskies. If you're new to my channel, I'm Lexi and this is Brody. He is 4 months old and today's video is going to be my labor and delivery story and how mine and my fiance's parents reacted to my pregnancy. I am 19. I got pregnant when I was 18. I had him when I was 18. I just turned 19. So how I found out was I was having really bad stomach pain and it went on for a few weeks. So finally my fiance took me to the hospital and they, made me pee in the cup, all this, and then the doctor came in and she's like, "You're pregnant." And I looked over at my fiance and he just went like this. So he was happy. But yeah, I found out because I was having extreme stomach pain. And I took a test right before I went to the hospital and it came back negative. So then when I went to the hospital and they told me I was pregnant, I was like, "How am I pregnant? I just took a test." And they're like, "No, you're pregnant." And so when I got back home, I looked in the garbage can. I took out my test that I took right before I went to the hospital. And it said I was pregnant. I was so pissed. I didn't wait long enough. I could have saved myself a hospital visit. So, how my parents reacted. I told my mom the night that I found out, only because she was kind of the one who told me to go to the hospital. I called her and I told her that I haven't been feeling well and all this, and she's like, "You need to go to the hospital, it could be something serious." So I called her like right when I got home and I was like, "Mom, you're gonna be a grandma." And she's like, "What?" I was like, "You're gonna be a grandma." And she's like, "Shut up." But she was happy. I waited to tell my dad till the next day, only because he's a little more strict. I called him and I was like, "Hi, Grandpa," and he's like, "What?" I was like, "Hi, Grandpa," and he's like, "Grandpa is sleeping," and I'm like, "No, you." He's like, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, "I'm pregnant." He said, "You're stupid." I was like, "No, I'm serious." And he was like, "You knucklehead," and that's literally exactly how he said it. He loves Brody, so, I mean, at first he was kind of disappointed, but he got over it. Meanwhile, I was already moved out. I moved out when I was 17. So, how Will's parents reacted to it. His dad was kind of pissed. He's like, "How are you going to afford a baby?" All this and that, and trying to put us down about it. And Will's like, "No, we can do it. We'll figure it out." And then Will's mom, when we told her, she was pissed off. She told me to get an abortion. What are you doing? What are you doing? She told me that I can't afford a baby, I can't take care of a baby, that I was using her son, all this and that. She threw a big fit. And then she said that if I kept the baby, she was going to take the baby from me. But she, like months later, she finally got over it, and she does love Brody. It still kind of hurt me that she told me to get an abortion, but I will get over that. But we have a happy, healthy baby boy who is 4 months old. And okay, I will tell you my labor and delivery. So I had to have a C-section because I have spinal stenosis, and I had a problem with my eyes when I was pregnant. My retinas were detaching, and they said that if I pushed, they would fully detach, and if they detached, I would go permanently blind. So they made me have a C-section. So I had to go in and fill out paperwork like a week before, just like give them my insurance and call Brody's insurance company, tell him that he was going to be born. And so on the 5th of June, I went in at 6 o'clock in the morning. That's when the time I was supposed to have him. But they make you they hook you up to this machine, and they basically just make sure the baby's okay and that it's time. After that, I was hooked up to the machine for like 4 hours, I would say. I got there at like probably around 5:40ish. I didn't have Brody until 10:20 in the morning. Because I was supposed to be the first C-section appointment, but my friend Layla, she had her baby the same day as me. They accidentally mixed us up, and they took her before me. So I had to wait. I was kind of pissed because I was so excited to have him, but it was okay. So when I got into the room, they took me down about, I would say it was 9:40ish. They took me down. They started talking to me and everything. This very nice doctor, she put me up on the bed. She started talking to me. She's like, "This is your first baby?" I said, "Yes." She said, "What are you naming him?" I said, "Brody." She's like, "Oh my God, that's so different. I love it." She was so nice. She said, "There is students in the room who want to watch. Is that okay?" I said, "Yes." So I had a bunch of kids watching my surgery of when I had him, but it was okay. Then she said, "Sorry it's so cold in here. It has to be for the surgery." And then the doctors came in. Well, no, first the epidural guy came in. And I had to lean all the way forwards. I had to put my neck all the way down. The lady was standing in front of me, and she was holding me so I wouldn't fall off the table because the epidural works like that. So she was holding me in case I fell forwards. And the guy said, "You're gonna feel a pinch. Don't jump." My stupid ass, as soon as he stuck it in my spine, jumped. So I had to get the epidural twice because the first one didn't work. The epidural it goes in and it just feels like a shot, and then when he puts the medicine in, your whole back burns. It is awful. So then my legs started going numb. I couldn't move. So the lady, the few doctors that were in the room, had to actually move me onto the surgery table. And then they put this thing around my head to make sure my neck couldn't move because they were cutting into me. Then my doctor came in, and she said, "Okay, we're ready to have this baby." She looked at me and she was cracking jokes to try to calm me down. She's like, "Wow, it looks like you're having 2 babies." And I was like, "No." I was so nervous. And then my fiancé came in, all dressed up in his little blue suit because they have to wear the suit over their clothes. So he came in, he stood by my head and held my hand. Then the doctor had the knife thing in her hand, and she said, "Let me know if you feel this." and she started like just like poking my belly with it, and I said, no, I don't feel it. And then they put up this this blue sheet in front of like the middle of my stomach, like about like right here, so I couldn't see what they were doing. So then she cut in me. I didn't really feel the cut at all, but when she was inside my stomach, like stretching it to and breaking the sac to get the baby, that I felt. You don't really feel it too much. You just feel tugging and pulling. Like you can feel that they're touching you, but you can't feel pain. Then after that, like 2 minutes went by, and then I heard crying. Well, before that even happened, she said, do you want to see the baby come out? I was like, what? She's like, do you want to see it? And they dropped the blue thing down, and there was just a white screen. And I got to watch her pull the baby out of my stomach. Yeah. Then after that, they took the baby over to the table, and my fiance cut his umbilical cord. They put him on my chest to do the skin to skin, and then they left him there for us to take some pictures, and then they took him. Him and my fiance went up to the nursery, and I got sent off to recovery because they had to stitch me up. After my fiance left, they stitched me up. I actually got 4 staples, and the rest were stitches. What are you doing? Then in recovery, I asked for my mom to come in. She probably didn't want to because she wanted to see the baby. But I told the doctors once they got me into the recovery room and hooked me up to all the machines to make sure my vitals were okay. I said, I don't want any of my family or my fiance's family to see the baby or to hold him until I get to. I wanted to be the first one to hold the baby with my fiance. I didn't care if my fiance held him because he was in the nursery with him already holding him. But I wanted to be the first one to hold him. And I came down, when my mom came down, I told her that exact same thing, and she agreed totally with me. She said, it's your baby, and that is perfectly fine. So everyone was pissed because I wouldn't let them see the baby. But I'm glad I did that because Brody had breathing problems. He still does. They hooked him up to the machines, and he had to stay in the nursery for almost 2 full days. He swallowed amniotic fluid when they took him out, and it burned his esophagus. So nobody was allowed to see him. Like when I came out of recovery finally and they brought me up to my room, one, I was super itchy from medicine that they gave me. Like I was super itchy. But like I was just like, where's my baby? I want to see him. All this and that, and my fiance came in and told me he's having breathing problems. They have to keep him hooked up to the machine, and that's all they told me. The doctors didn't tell me anything. That's all I knew, is that he was having breathing problems. So, you know me, on all this medicine still, I started crying. I said, I just want to see my baby. Where is he? Finally, a doctor came in, and this was like hours and hours later after I had so many visitors asking where my baby was. They told me that he swallowed amniotic fluid and he's not breathing right. They have to get the fluid out of him. And he wasn't really eating. They had to put a tube in him to help him eat. But all these people kept saying, why is, and almost 9-pound baby in the NICU. Like, you never really see that. And it was because he was having breathing problems. What are you doing? So they came in the next night, like all the moms that just had their babies, you can hear the babies in the room with them. And mine was the only baby in the nursery, hooked up to all these machines. But since I had the C-section, I was numb from the waist down for like almost 2 days. Like, it was because I had to get the 2 shots, so I had a little bit of the first shot in me already. So I told them, I said, I want to see my baby. I said, I wanted to breastfeed and I can't now because you guys are already feeding him. So I had like 2 doctors come and lift me up and put me in a wheelchair and take me to him. I held him, but it was very hard with all the wires on him. And I tried to breastfeed him and he latched on, but he didn't really seem interested. So I had to go back to my room, and we slept that night without Brody. And in the morning, the doctor came in with me. She's like, oh my gosh, I just cuddled him all night, and he's such a good baby. And, I was happy that somebody was with him in there all night, but I was sad that he wasn't with me. And then, like, 2 hours later, it was probably like, I would say 10 o'clock in the morning. The doctor came in and said he's still having breathing problems, so we might have to transport him and his father to, I forgot what hospital it was, but it was like a hospital special for kids and babies. And I was like, no, I'm going with him. You need to transport me too. They said, we can't do that. You just had major surgery. But somebody has to go with him, and it has to be his father. Then they said that they'll watch him for a little while longer, see if he got better, and they'll let me know. So an hour and a half went by. It was like 11:30-ish. The doctor came back in and they said, he's looking a little better. We're going to take him off the machine. And if he can start breathing on his own, then he could stay here with you. I said, okay. So I actually had my baby, and people were coming in, seeing him, and I didn't even want to let him go. I just wanted to hold him. The doctors kept coming in and checking his breathing for me. And he's doing a lot better. He still has abnormal breathing, but he can breathe on his own perfectly fine. What's wrong? But that will be all for this video. Thank you for watching. If you're not, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can add my Musical.ly and my Facebook. They will be in the end credits. We love you, broskies. Bye.